Хорошо, здравствуйте. Сегодня у меня в гости пришли два особенных гостя. Мира Терада, председатель Фонда борьбы с репрессиями из Москвы, России, и Фаина Савенкова из Донбасса, бывшей Украины, но теперь части России. Добро пожаловать, Мира и Фаина.
Спасибо.
Спасибо.
Теперь я хочу попробовать говорить с вами по-русски, но, к сожалению, мой русский, конечно, не совсем совершенно. Но если вы можете терпеливать со мной, я думаю, что можно продолжать. Вы можете говорить обычно, нормально, и мы потом переводим. Хорошо?
Хорошо.
Хорошо. Так что, Фаина, тебе сейчас 14 лет или 13 лет?
13 полных.
14?
Нет, еще нету. Но скоро будет.
13. Потому что Риджис только что взял интервью с тобой, и он говорил, что тебе уже 14 лет. Так что я думаю, у тебя был день рождения, и я хотела поздравлять тебя. Но мы ждем, мы будем поздравлять тебя потом. Ты уже в России очень известная писательница, и ты пишешь... Сколько у тебя книг, которые ты уже написала?
4 книги, 2 романа и 2 сборника.
Да, это много. И ты когда начинала писать?
Ну, серьезно, я думаю, лет с 11.
Да. И ты тоже сделала видео и показала видео at the United Nations. Как сказать? В UN. Он. И вот почему украинцы вот почему миротворец. This is why I'm going to go ahead and speak English when I can't say it right in Russian. But this is why the Ukrainian Nazis have added Faina to mirotvorец, which means peacemaker in Ukrainian, but is actually the opposite of that. It's actually a list of thousands of names. And Mira Terada is the chairwoman for the Foundation to Battle Injustice, is very familiar with what this is because that's what your foundation, of course, does, is investigates this. But Faina, я хочу понимать, как это тебе? Как ты живешь так? Сначала в войне, в Донбассе, и сейчас с этим списком, где они дали тебе, where they put her on this list. All right.
Поместили.
Thank you.
Ну, это страшно, как минимум.
Конечно, страшно, но это каждый день. И как жить так, когда каждый день страшно?
Ну, как-то уже привыкли.
Да. Просто это сложно понять. В Америке, где, например, когда мне было 14 лет, конечно, мы все боялись из войны, потому что это реально, что Советский Союз мог был бомбировать, и мы могли бы там бомбировать. И война, это всегда... Я боялась от этого, но я не жила там, в войне, где это рядом со мной. Как это тебе было? Начинала, где тебе только всего 5 лет?
Ну да, мне было 5 лет, но я не особо помню свою мирную жизнь, поэтому мне, в общем-то, не с чем сравнивать. Ну, было страшно, как бы. Очень переживали родители. Ну, я мало что понимала, была тогда маленькой.
И твои родители, как им, когда они подставили тебя в миротворец?
Ну, очень
Как,
испугались, волновались.
и что об этом делать просто?
М,
Например, есть у тебя нисколько, is there any kind of security, like a bodyguard or
У тебя есть какая-либо безопасность, например, телохранители?
Нет, нету. Если можно что-то продать телохранителям, то тогда да.
it's terrifying, it's очень страшно. И they added you to this list specifically because you did this video for the UN Security Council, correct?
Они добавили тебя в список именно за то, что ты отправила видео в ООН, правильно?
Ну, я думаю, что да.
It's what you think, but ну, ты так думаешь, но ты тоже, конечно, пишешь много о войне, и это известные написания, много читают, и, может быть, это тоже почему
Возможно.
нужно. Мира, я хочу задать тебе вам вопрос и
Можно
спросить,
тебе?
как можно тебе? Хорошо, мы уже давно общались, так что
Да, нам можно.
а мне тоже можно найти,
Хорошо.
если вам удобно, вам
Да,
оба удобно. Хорошо, тогда мы уже давно общались, но мне иногда сложно понимать, что Фаина, что ей всего 13 лет, потому что она говорит как взрослый человек, когда мы пишем друг друга. И я знаю, что у тебя есть блестящий ум, и ты очень, очень глубоко думаешь, и поэтому можешь писать, как ты пишешь. I'm sorry, my Russian is so poor. I really wanted to try
no,
to
your
speak it
Russian
so
is
that
good. Your Russian
I
is
wanted
good,
to
and
help
it
you guys to.
comforts her.
Oh, good. I'm glad if that helps. That's why I wanted to try. But I think for the sake of clarity, I should probably go ahead and start speaking English since you're so much more fluent at translating than I am.
It's okay. We can switch on and off from English to Russian.
Right, of course. And I will put subtitles underneath everything when we're done
Okay.
so that it will be understandable to everyone.
Yeah.
But to talk a little bit more with some background about what exactly Miratoriets is, I've written about it, of course, many articles, but your organization, the Foundation to Battle Injustice, has spent a lot of time investigating this. Is there more that you can tell us aside from the fact that there are thousands of people on this list? And of course, that it's funded by the United States. We've established these things. What else can you tell us about it?
I mean, all the investigations that's done by us were already published, and they're all available on our website. I've been sending you all that information, and you wrote, as you said, many articles. The key information you already have, and the majority of people by now, thanks to you, to the Schiller Institute, and many others, opinion leaders who are bringing the subject up and letting as many people know as possible, because I always say that only united we can beat this evil, because it's a pure evil. Because even the page where they put new profiles, they call it чистилище. I don't know how you say it in English. You know the word? Let me translate it.
I'm trying to think.
It's from the Bible, technically. But the meaning is horrible. Just a second.
I mean, there's almost no word that can describe such a thing
Purgatory.
in any language.
It's purgatory.
Purgatory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they call it that way, you know. So this is how they feel about all the people that they put on the list, that all of them already dead, and all of them are already in hell, basically. How crazy this is. And
It's
then
insane.
it's insane, yes. And when somebody gets killed by the Ukrainians or whoever is involved with them, they mark their profile pages, liquidated. It's been created in 2014, as you know, and
Right.
the host and provider is American company based in California, Cloudflare. They host many websites. My question is,
Yeah.
do they know who they provide the service? I do believe that they must know. If you provide
They
the
must.
service, and if you know that this is illegal, only for the sake of that the personal information is published, and it doesn't matter where you're at, United States, Ukraine, Russia, Poland, Germany, it's everywhere the same law. Personal information without the information holder permission cannot be published.
The only place
So
such a thing as legal is in a fascist country like Ukraine, where they actually believe it's a crime to have a differing opinion. I mean, they're
yes,
considering this a crime on par with terrorism.
yes.
So
So
that
I
if you blew up a building, okay, it would be considered the same as if you spoke your mind and said, hey, I don't like Zelensky and I don't like what he's doing.
And the problem is that the fact that Cloudflare right now, if they are not canceling the service, meaning that they are conspirators on this crime, because supporting this,
Yes.
providing the service means that you're a conspirator to whoever violates the law right now. Because
I want to make a quick note about Cloudflare, because Cloudflare was recently involved in a scandal here in the United States because it supported a site. I believe it was called Kiwi Farms. I'll have to check that. But Kiwi Farms was actively doxing people in the LGBTQ community, the gays and the lesbians. They were being, and trans and everything. They were being like doxed, like having their public addresses and everything. And some people were being attacked. They were being harassed. At least one person killed themselves because of the harassment. And now, and Cloudflare got in trouble for that. And they finally pulled out. They finally stopped supporting that site. So I'm wondering if we could do something similar, only about Mira and get that stopped.
hopefully we will, because we just sent the petition to the UN, another petition which been signed by you and many others. We got about 1,000 signatures in a very short
Right.
period of time. It's different people, journalists, political activists, social activists, opinion leaders again, who signed this petition, and it was sent to the UN. We will see what UN does. If UN again just will say that, oh, this is bad, this is not good, and that's it, and nothing will be done after that, then we will have to take a different route, and we will go with suing the Cloudflare, because something must be done, and nothing being done for the past almost already 9 years. And you see, this is another problem we discussed at the last conference with Schiller Institute.
Right.
Not a long time ago. I mean, and
This
Faina,
was just done
yeah, wrote a
last week.
letter to Julian Assange where we say that Julian Assange case was the first case that we saw that faced issues with freedom of speech. But after that, not long after that, Mira was created. Now there are so many, copies of Mira, and the purpose of all those websites and all this action against of Julian Assange and other journalists that are being persecuted now, just as a copy paste according to Julian Assange case, like a copycats. And all this is against the freedom of speech. But if we don't have freedom of speech, then we don't know the truth. We are not at the 15th century, when somebody is delivering the news and that person gets killed because the news are just bad, we don't like it. No, the journalist is just a connection in between truth and the society. Journalist doesn't say his or her opinion. It's just a tool to deliver the message. Exactly.
Just the
And
fact.
to add on top of Faina's wisdom and Faina's brilliant mind, I remember our interview with Grey Zone and Max Blumenthal when he asked her about, well, what did you learn for this past 8 years of being at war, you know, living in Donbass when Ukrainians shell you every day? Faina said that she learned to do everything today because tomorrow may not happen. And this is, attention, somebody of 13-year-old saying.
It amazes me, really. I mean, she's like I've said, when I speak with her, sometimes it's hard to remember that she's only 13. But I don't want to keep talking. I want to involve Faina back into the conversation. So why don't you tell her what you just told me about what she said?
I will tell her like shortly about everything. Я
Yeah.
рассказывала Деборе о том, что о проблеме свободы слова, о конференциях, в которых участвовала, о том, что мы отправили петицию в ООН, о всех наших последних обращениях, включая обращение к Джулиану Ассанжу. И вспомнила, возвращаясь к разговору с тобой, о том, что ты очень мудрая и умная девочка, и в нашем интервью Максу Блюменталю в Grey Zone он задал тебе вопрос, который, и твой ответ просто не оставил никого равнодушным, когда он спросил тебя, чему тебя научила война за эти 8 лет, и ты сказала, война меня научила жить сегодня, потому что завтра может не наступить.
И Faina, ты написала письмо Julian Assange. Ты можешь читать это письмо для нас?
Чтобы... Нету.
Не сейчас? Хорошо, а я могу подставить ссылку, чтобы люди могут читать. Есть у тебя пример текста, который ты можешь читать,
Ну, в принципе,
который ты
есть.
сама написала?
Правда, это не письмо, это эссе,
Хорошо.
но есть.
Что?
Это не письмо, это эссе, но есть. Да.
Хорошо. Давай.
Верить и надеяться. Каждый раз, когда меня просят рассказать о жизни под украинскими обстрелами, я теряюсь. Не потому что ребенок, и не потому что об этом нечего рассказать. Нет. Я просто не знаю, что от меня хотят услышать. Сухие безразличные сводки о жертвах и разрушениях? Конечно, нет. Для этого есть новости. Лишние ощущения и переживания? Вот этим сложнее. А какая она жизнь на войне? Наверное, обычная, если ты почти не помнишь жизни мирной. Многие могут ужаснуться из-за осознания того, что в 21 веке в географическом центре Европы есть ребята, которые не помнят летящие высоко в небе самолеты, прогулки по вечернему городу вместе с родителями или еще какую-нибудь милую ерунду, на которую не обращают внимания другие дети. Нашу жизнь носит свои корректировки бесполетная зона комендантских часа. Когда читаешь о беспорядках в некоторых городах Европы из-за введения комендантского часа в связи с коронавирусом, это вызывает недоумение. А что не так? Всего лишь комендантский час, ничего страшного уже не произошло. Зачем так беспокоиться? Причина такого спокойствия на самом деле очень проста. Все познается в сравнении. А нам сравнивать нечего. Мы поколение, не помнящее мирной жизни. Мы поколение, живущее по строгим правилам, несоблюдение которых может привести к смерти. Мы научились определять на слух направление полета снарядов, чтобы знать, когда стоит беспокоиться, когда можно продолжать идти по своим делам. Мы научились не пропускать мимо ушей лекции МЧС о правилах поведения во время обстрелов, в случае обнаружения подозрительных предметов или прочие рекомендации в различных ситуациях. И все равно никто не может дать гарантии, что тебя случайно не заденет осколком, для того, что тебе просто не повезло. Странно, страшно. Обыденность с небольшой долей различий в зависимости от интенсивности обстрелов территории. Что такое жизнь под украинскими обстрелами? Это когда вечером 1 июня, в День защиты детей, у мемориала погибших детям Донбасса в небо взмывают сотни бумажных фонарей, чтобы осветить путь ангелам. Ведь малышам, запускающим фонарики, сложно объяснить, почему этих ангелов отняли их короткую жизнь, лишив возможности повзрослеть и увидеть мир на нашей родине. Теперь они могут наблюдать с небес и плакать вместе со взрослыми, утешая их. Так получилось, что почти вся моя жизнь и воспоминания связаны с войной. из-за чего у меня нет сожалений и печали о прошлом. Я живу настоящим и изредка думаю о будущем, в котором есть место наивной и глупой мечте, вызывающей улыбку. Вполне реальная, согревающая, почти осязаемая, она позволяет не отчаиваться даже в самые тяжелые времена. Я хочу, чтобы в небе до Донбасса летали пассажирские самолеты и бумажные фонарики. Любая мечта должна превращаться в реальность. Так должно быть, и я верю, что так будет.
I didn't get all of that, I'm afraid. Can you just summarize that for me, Mira?
Oh, Faina tells basically that she talks about how she reacts when people ask her about life at war, and she always gets confused when she gets asked that question, only for the reason because she doesn't remember any different. And then she explains how it is to live at the war, how they pay attention to this or that, and what happens on June 1st, which is Day of the Protection of Children, when they send up many Chinese lamps, Chinese lights up to the air to the children of Donbas who was killed, to the angels of Donbas. And she's talking about her dream that she cannot feel or touch yet, dream of the future peaceful sky.
I can't wait to hear the full translation.
It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing, heart-touching. I don't know how to explain. Like, I had goosebumps all over my body, on my neck, cheeks, everywhere, through my spine, going sweat and all of it. It's really, really touching. And, when you think about when someone is telling you, I don't know how it is when plane is flying on top of your head because, there is no non-flight zone and stuff. And like, it's just crazy. It's not even about like comparing to other children who live in a peaceful time. It's even an adult thinking of something like this. I can't even imagine what it feels like.
I can't either. And that's what I want to get across to the people watching this, because in America, we don't have any real concept of war here, except that it's something that happens far away from us. And most of the time it's our country that's instigating it. And that's something that people here, they don't want to hear, because they don't want to believe that America is doing anything wrong in the world, because America is the land of the free and the brave and the land of democracy. And that's what people believe. And so when I tell them about Faina and about what's happening in Ukraine, about the neo-Nazis, they don't want to believe me. And they just say, well, you must be crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. Because they're watching the mainstream media, and the mainstream media is telling them a bunch of lies and untruths. And it's just an amazing thing. I mean, I'm a journalist and I'm sitting here going, how can these people be working as journalists and getting paid outlandish amounts of money? I mean, I mean, they make more in a day than I've ever made in a year as a journalist. And they're lying. All they're doing is lying. How can they live with themselves? So I want Faina's message very much. I want her message to get out. And can I just pose a question?
I think, sorry to interrupt, I think we should ask Faina to send this essay to you so you can translate it and actually post it, because it's just beautiful. I want people to read it, and when they read it,
of course, absolutely,
because it's amazing.
I want to translate it and subtitle it in here too.
Пришли, пожалуйста, свое эссе после интервью Деборе. И она переведет и опубликует его, чтобы все прочитали это и испытали то чувство, которое испытали мы, пока слушали тебя.
Точно. Now, I want to ask Faina, like, when she's writing, is this a way that helps her to deal with what she's having to live through with this war? Does this give her comfort? Does this help her?
Ты когда пишешь, это какое-то выражение себя, чтобы успокоить в некотором роде себя с ситуацией с войной?
Ну, может быть, в какой-то степени да, но думала, что больше Типа, то есть им рассказать свои эмоции об этой войне.
I didn't catch everything she exactly said.
She said partly yes, but mostly I'm trying to tell people about the war, to let people know,
Of course.
to share her emotions about it.
And I think that's why I so very much want to include subtitles so people can read what she was saying. They'll have that throughout this entire interview. And I will also include a link to a translation of it.
Дебра запостит субтитры, чтобы все могли прочитать, и, ну и вообще через все интервью, и отдельно она еще сделает ссылку, отдельно, чтобы могли прочитать.
Спасибо.
Конечно, это важно.
Isn't her smile so cute? Like every time she smiles, I just want to do this. I know she's already grown enough for that, but it's just so adorable. I can't resist.
I know.
I miss her so bad. I don't get to see her often, you know, it's like once in a couple of months, and for such a short amount of time, but
I saw the two of you together when you made a little appearance on John Mark Dougal's
yeah.
or Dugan. John Mark Dugan's yeah, it was a cute interview too. What do you think, Mira? Why? What do you think? I mean, I guess it's hard to understand the minds of psychopaths because that's what they must be. But to add children's names to this list, to this kill list, which is that's what it is. And people on that list, some of them have been assassinated.
You know, I've been asked this question before, and the issue with this is that they don't take children as children anymore. They see those children as children of the terrorists. That's how they call people of Donbass, terrorists. And
like Faina here, a
yeah,
terrorist. This is a terrorist.
That's how they think. Yeah, and you know, they see them as an enemy. They don't see them as children. And with such a mental state, you know, I think they don't even understand what child is, what even their own child is. I'm not even sure. I'm confident that the majority of those people actually do not have their own children because
How could they?
they, you know, they dedicate their life to this war and to what is happening. The fact that President Zelensky, for example, has children, you know, we don't even know how often he sees them and how he educates them and so on. And he got his children before he became as a president. But people that, you know, on that side of the barricade, the people that are fighting or people that are leading nationalists, I don't believe that they do have children because if they did, I doubt they would even allow this happen. You know, I don't have my own children now, but I do have mercy and love and kindness, and for me, you know, the child, like how the Bible says, don't cry, woman who doesn't have a child, children of the whole world are yours. You know, that's how I feel about any child in the world right now. But people who have evil in the heart and soul, you know, or whatever remains from that soul, black soul, whatever it is, they don't understand what child is, what life is. And as Faina wrote not long ago, she said, what the life cost one bullet. And that's how they feel. And for them, there is no difference if it's an adult, if it's a child, if it's an animal. All what they see is an enemy.
It's so incomprehensible. I mean, I think they must be psychopaths. They must have nothing inside of themselves. They must just be hollow inside and not have any feelings or any empathy or anything outside of their own overwhelming desire for more and more and more.
I believe that those people are just very lost and very confused. They are like truly like lost sheep in this case, and hopefully they will see the truth. And
you have more pity for them than me.
I this this is how I feel about everyone. I have to be merciful because I'm a human rights defender. I don't have
Right.
a right to judge anyone. And all what I can say, I just feel sorry for them, and I hope that one day they will repent, and then they will be saved because there is no other way. This is the way to nowhere, the way that they took right now.
Can you ask Faina, how does she feel about this? Why does she think that children's names have been added to this list?
Фаина, что ты чувствуешь по поводу того, что детей вносят на миротворец? Как ты к этому относишься?
Ну, это неправильно. Нарушаются законы, дети могут пострадать. Что не только дети, все, куда занесены, данные туда занесены, могут пострадать. Очень неправильно.
This is wrong, and this is against the law, and children who are on the list and anybody who is on the list can be harmed.
But why does she think that this has happened? That they've
Почему это
added these names?
происходит, ты думаешь? Почему они добавляют детей?
Не знаю, на самом деле.
I actually
Видимо,
don't know.
не согласны с
How?
позицией, поэтому так думают, не знаю.
Because they just disagree with the position. But you see, here's another thing, though. There are also children of adults that are on the list. Like, for example, there is a political activist and a political leader of LPR, Anna Soroka. Her children are on the list. So I think it's another way to manipulate of the consciousness of the adults who are on the list, or to let them know your child is a target. You better stop. Now we have their information. So it's again only threat.
That makes sense because of Daria. Because wasn't it her father that they were actually trying to get at?
It wasn't proven. We don't know, and I knew Daria, and my personal opinion to that she was a target. She was a target. Let's say they killed the future. Because how I see that, Daria was her own person. She, of course, she's a daughter of her father, but she was brilliant journalist. She was a brilliant political viewer. She was a true peacemaker, and she has built relationship in between Russia and several countries. In the on the field of journalism, on the field of philosophy as a science, and the enemy probably could see who Daria can become. She was one of the opinion leaders. She had a bunch of followers. People loved her. She was so rare. She was kind and beautiful and clever and kind. And you never would hear that she would deny somebody with help. And there is no such a person like her. And so knowing that what may happen in 5-10 years, who she can become, she was just, executed as a potential threat in the future to the enemy, I guess, because who else? And another thing, she was Alexander Gelievich legacy. She is his legacy. Of course,
Yeah.
he will leave. He will leave everything what he has done, but she is the true legacy.
And you yourself are on this list.
I am. They put me on the list once I started helping Faina fighting it, and I arranged a press conference for her. 2 hours after press conference was over, they put me on the list. And what can I do?
What can any of us do? We've got to find some way to shut this down. It's absolutely it's outrageous. I don't even have a word for what I'm thinking, that why such a thing even exists.
I will explain
Because
you. I was asked earlier, like, why does it exist? It's been up for like over 8 years, and nobody ever done nothing. Here's the situation: people were not silenced about it. One journalist who found out that she's on the list wrote a letter somewhere. Another one wrote complaint. But all those people, they were fighting separately. The voice of
right,
one in the desert cannot be heard. now, since the Foundation to Battle Injustice started this case, we found all the people. We are trying to unite those people. Those are journalists as well. They write articles about it. We found, like the light, the destiny, and this fight brought us together with you, with Schiller's Institute, with other
Right.
people. And now we are together. Now it's more than 1,000 of us. Soon it can be more, but hopefully not. Hopefully by then we will shut it down.
Uh-huh.
But
It's almost a joke sometimes. I mean, not a joke at all because people have really died, but to add Elon Musk, and I've heard, like, I actually saw a video on Ukrainian TV that somebody claimed that Elon Musk is actually named Ilya Moskovich, and that he is a Kremlin spy, right? And it's like, what planet are these people living on?
you see, it's weird how they use media nowadays. They figured out that they can affect people's consciousness if they will repeat one news 10 times over and it will go to their subconscious mind. They maybe will believe that this is truth, but this is what they do for real to people. We
I
live in a
know.
world where we don't, if you don't have a critical mind, if you won't check and doubt every single word that you hear nowadays, then you're just going to be another puppet, manipulated puppet, because they will put into your mind using TV as a source of manipulation or internet as a source of manipulation, feeding people with fake news, with whatever. And how, like, the majority of people, unfortunately, they will not do internet research. They will not go for the
No.
3 clicks to find out the truth. They will be watching it and say, because they either don't have time, either they're lazy, either
Yep.
in another thing. I lived in the United States for 8 years. US was teaching people for decades that lying is bad. You have to believe each other. You have to trust what government says. And it's good life. It's normal life when you don't have to be afraid about tomorrow, about your neighbors or anything like this. And now they just abusing this power that was given before to people, abusing this amount of trust that people give
Hmm.
to the government. And like when COVID, I guess when COVID started, then when how it started, with all these lies, like the huge amount of lies put into people's ears.
Hmm.
Before it was little by little, they probably were checking, have we built the right system? Is it working? Do people believe us now? Can
Yes,
we put
I think they
education?
have been.
So this is how I feel what they are doing, and then older people, the more old school they are, then more they believe. Younger people, they
Hmm.
have more critical mind in this case, and they're trying to find out. But this is horrible to lie to people like this. This is wrong, because the first purpose of the government is to serve your people, to serve your country, serve your nation, serve the best for them, and serve the good purpose, according to the Bible and so on. In this case, United States is a godly country.
No.
There are so many good people. But yeah, I seen the late statistic. It does look bad, but I mean, there are a lot of good people,
Mhm.
many
I
good
want to clarify one little thing, if I could, and that is about Mirotvorets, because the Schiller Institute, they were saying that the Ukrainian Center for Countering Disinformation only established this database, what was it, under the Zelensky regime. So like only since 2021, but you're saying it's been up for 8, 9 years now?
Mirotvorets has, and CCD only for a couple of years, 2 3 years.
Okay. So are there two different Mirotvorets
Yes,
lists?
yes. It's not
Okay.
Miratori, it's actually CCD list, and but it's a copy of Miratoris pretty much. And
Both of them need
and
to be shut down.
CCD is pretty much approved by government, so it functions under the government resolution. But there are
Yeah,
more.
it's law. It's law that info terrorism is considered the same thing as blowing up a building. So you told something that they don't agree with, and so that's the same thing as if you've blown up a building.
And there are more data like this. There is one in UK. It starts with M. Max Blumenthal told us about that one. And then there is this Nuremberg process 2.0 or something like this. There are like several data. There, like, I don't want to promote them right now.
Oh
But there
God,
are
no.
so many that been created after Mira. That's why I say, like, they've been given a horrible trend that bunch of bad people picked up right now. It's like I don't know. It's like a black market or something where they sell data, because there are closed profiles also on Miratvorets that are under password. We don't know who is behind that password, who has this password, because it used to be beads. They would say, like, we will pay $10,000 or whatever for the head of this person. Maybe they're still trying to order someone, behind those passwords. So it's just, and it's not even on the black market, or in the dark web. It's not there. It's like straight up on the internet.
Oh, are you still there? Thought I'd
Yeah.
lost you for a moment. It reminds me of that song by Pelageya. What is it? The Midnight Rider. It's the Polnochny Vsadnik
Mhm.
that he's running out to go kill people. That's basically what his job is. He's a man that just goes off and kills whoever they have an order. He's a hitman.
Yeah, and I think they also play an interesting game, as you said, because sometimes they do put people that would make sense why they're on the list, because they're fighting, against the Kiev
Mm-hmm.
regime, or they are uh, really saying something, or they're participating in the military operation. But sometimes whoever they put, it doesn't make sense at all. And I think they do it
Elon
on
Musk,
purpose. To
Henry
do it on
Kissinger.
exactly, people like them, to do it on purpose and to show, no, this is not serious. This is just a joke website. Don't take it seriously. You know.
Oh, I think you're
So, like,
right.
yeah, it's like
It's a
just
psyop.
put in your consciousness in sleep. Like, just be off guard. It's a joke. We're doing nothing serious here. And then,
Uh-huh.
like, all these nicknames like CIA, FBI, NSA, MI5, those are the profiles that they create new profiles. So why would they use such names? There's one idea. Okay,
In
they
the
will put
Langley,
it
Virginia.
right. They would put it for the, like. Why would you set up your partners like that, your American partners like that, unless they give you the full permission, and it will scare people even more. Like, how would you feel if somebody created your profile and it says MI5, for example?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Let's sorry.
yeah,
What?
go ahead.
I was going to say I don't want to just leave Faina sitting here by herself. So
Absolutely.
we go back to Faina, but I want to see if does she have any more? Faina, если у тебя еще один пример, который ты можешь читать, читать для нас.
Да. Но немножко длинновато.
Does she say she does?
She does, but it's a little long.
No, that's okay. Have her read. She can go ahead and read it. If she sends me the text, I can translate it.
Взрослое молчание. Каждому человеку известно, что у любой войны всегда есть начало и конец. Официальные даты часто так остаются не более чем холодными безразличными числами, памяти участников событий. Когда началась война на Донбассе для каждого из нас? Сколько бы ни спрашивало окружающих, у всех будет разный ответ. В 2014 году было много событий, ставших для кого-то той самой разделительной чертой. Я верю в человечность, хочу верить, как и мои родители. Мы не живем в выдуманном мире, нет. Просто есть разница между тем, что мы видим, и тем, что мы хотим. И моим близким хотелось верить, что происходящее было чудовищной случайностью. Ведь не могут же люди быть такими жестокими и безжалостными. Могут. И мы это знаем, все равно продолжаем надеяться, что люди способны одуматься. Значит, зачем тогда жить? Всего лишь наивная надежда, ничуть не оправдывающая преступление. Не знаю. Наверное, я просто была убежденность в том, что такого не может случиться в наше время и у нас на родине. Все казалось каким-то глупым кошмарным сновидением. Так не могло быть. Так не должно быть, чтобы собственная армия уничтожала свой же народ. Но такое все равно происходит. Думаю, настоящее понимание того, что началась война, приходит, когда привыкаешь к смерти. Тогда же она начинается и для отдельного человека, а не для государства. Для меня такой датой стало 2 июня 2014 года. Я помню, что это был понедельник, и мы с братом болели. Надо было идти на прием к врачу. Повседневная жизнь расписана по минутам, хоть мы этого не замечаем. До автобусной остановки идти столько-то минут. Поездка займет столько-то времени. Расписание автобусных рейсов, график работы педиатра. Примерное время ожидания в очереди. Ангина это, конечно, неприятно, но не смертельно. Если надеть маску, то можно в библиотеку зайти, чтобы взять книги из школьного списка для личного чтения. Планы, которые могут меняться в зависимости от обстоятельств. Наши поменялись из-за того, что мой брат испугался в тот день у врача, была только я. А мне лень было идти в библиотеку за книгами, которые у меня и прочесть не получилось бы. Разве что картинки рассмотреть. Если бы мой брат не боялся или мама не обратила внимания на его переживания, во время обстрела мы были бы возле того самого сквера, по которому был нанесен авиаудар по зданию афганской областной администрации. И я понимаю, что, возможно, мы с мамой живы только благодаря брату. Помню, как я расплакалась из-за страшного грохота, прогремевшего на весь город. Помню, как не было мобильной связи, мы не могли дозвониться бабушке, работавшей в театре через дорогу от места трагедии. А еще помню, что мой учитель рассказывал о событиях 2 июня. В здании администрации находится детский сад, и в тот день после обстрела воспитатели стояли у ворота и встречали ослепших от слез матерей. Всего одной фразой: «Все живы». А им больше ничего и не было нужно. Война — это когда 1 июня мир отмечает День защиты детей, а уже 2 июня самое важное, самое нужное слово, которое родители могут слушать простое, короткое «живо». А через неделю погибает от артобстрела первый ребенок. Полина Сладкая из Славянска. Ей было 6 лет, моя ровесница. Она могла стать врачом, учителем или художником, кем угодно. Она всегда останется в первой списке убитых детей, жертв этой войны. Самое страшное во всем этом слово «список». Выполняется он до сих пор. Неудобная правда, но не нельзя забывать. Да и не получится, даже если хотелось бы. В Луганске есть мемориал, посвященный детям, погибшим из-за обстрелов. Есть он и в Донецке. Стоя у него, взрослые до сих пор не находят слов и молчат, опустив глаза. Тут действительно нечего сказать. Мир отмечает День защиты детей, но защитить нас не может. Когда-то уже писала, что дети войны тихи, потому что не слышимы взрослыми. Пока так оно и есть. Я верю, что все изменится. Когда-нибудь мы увидим мир и на нашей земле. Мы, дети, пережившие войну, вырастем. И будем пытаться остановить весь этот ужас, сделав то, что не удалось взрослым. Чтобы День защиты детей перестал быть простой датой, превратившись в настоящий праздник.
Can you give me a quick summary? I got a little of it, but not enough that I want to.
Yeah, but it's pretty much the same issue. Plus, she's writing about a little girl who, at the age of 6, who heard, and it's the same dream that this night. And as I agreed before, she will send you this essay, so you will be able to read.
Is
Very powerful.
Faina, когда ты пишешь, это иногда это ты, например, это ты, о которой ты пишешь. Ты пишешь ты о себе, да? Ты думаешь?
What are you trying to ask?
I mean, I'm trying to ask her if when she writes, if she's writing about herself in a way.
Когда ты пишешь о себе в некотором роде.
Ну да.
It's so. Мне просто очень сложно понимать, как можно так жить, и как просто нет слов, чтобы говорить. А ты говоришь, ты пишешь. She writes so eloquently, and I've read some of her work and translated it before, so that's how I know this. So I'm really looking forward to translating this one. I wish that my comprehension was a little bit better, but when I see the text, it'll be easier to understand it. So, is there anything more that either of you would like to add?
Есть еще что-то, что бы ты хотела добавить?
Даже не знаю.
Ну, может быть, что ты хочешь пожелать или о чем-то попросить?
Давай.
Ну, наверное, замечать, что происходит вокруг, в первую очередь.
Почему?
I don't think I got that.
Потому что многие люди, не зная ситуацию на Донбассе, им просто это интересно, пока не касается это их. И если люди были бы чуть добрее, более отзывчивые, то, кажется, не знаю, было бы лучше.
Just says that she wish people would notice what's going on around, and I asked why, and she said because of the situation in Donbas. If people would look more, they would know what is happening.
Well, I hope
I don't
that
know. I lost in her words for a second, just thinking about like what she is saying. That I totally forgot what to translate. So
it's okay.
I
Well,
was like,
you're doing a lot better than me, obviously. So
yeah,
I
she just thinks it will be better and people will be more merciful if they would try to understand what is happening in Donbas. The other time she said that she wants people to pay more attention because you know, she doesn't want them to believe the first thing what they see. She wants them to do research and information to find out the truth, because sometimes the truth is so flipped or perverted.
it's really quite amazing. I mean, we're seeing I it's unprecedented the amount of control that the media is under. And I mean, we were raised in this country to believe that we had the only free press in the world, which that's a
Look,
lie.
I will
It
tell
probably
you.
always has been a lie.
I will tell you the crazy truth that happened to me like a couple of months ago, I guess. I've been working, helping to write someone an article, and the person was, you know, writing, like preparing material for Bloomberg. And once the article was prepared and everything, the journalist said the White House didn't allow us to publish it.
Wow. What journalist was this? Do you know what publication?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to sabotage him, I would say,
Okay.
because, but that's the thing.
I understand that. I actually used to work one of the colleagues that I worked with when I worked in television news is now a White House correspondent. I won't say his name either, but it amazes me, that they're not able to tell us everything. I mean, I realized when I was working in TV that there was a ceiling, that
Yes,
there's only so far I was going to be able to go because they're not going to let you pass this place unless you are willing to just walk right within the two lines, and you better not step off to either side.
yeah. That's why, like, I don't have pretty much questions to the journalists who are working. I do have questions to the editors, uh, and I do have a question to the journalists that agree probably like they do prepare good materials, and
Mm.
sometimes the materials is article is full of truth, but then they go to the editor and editor edits it, or doesn't allow the article to be published. And then here's my questions to those people.
And I've never seen so much editing as I've seen in the US. And I worked in Russian television. I worked over there, and they didn't censor me like I've been censored here. So it's fascinating. It really is.
Yeah, you can
Um,
compare, like you see in United States or some European countries, there are so many Russian news are just blocked. You cannot read them or watch them. Like some of them cannot be. I don't even know if you can use VPN. But in Russia, we do get CNN, BBC, or like some other news. Whatever you want, because they do allow us to make our own decisions what to believe. We need to have another side of the medal to compare, to see the truth, to see how they say the same situation happened, and how Russian media says the situation happened, and then like make our own decisions, come to our own conclusion. This is called the freedom that God gave us, the main gift in the world, because God loves us. He gave us freedom.
it's amazing because when I was growing up, all we ever heard about the Soviet Union was how it oppressed people and repressed them, and they couldn't speak the truth. And I mean, there were jokes about it. There was that joke about how the guy goes to Russia and the Russian guy says, I can joke anytime I want. Reagan is an idiot or whatever. And it's because he could only joke about Reagan, but not about his own president. And now here we are, and it's exactly the opposite of that. It's the United States where we're not allowed to say certain things. I mean, I know I'll eventually be deplatformed if I get enough followers. So I've kind of like not advertised or promoted a whole lot because I want to be able to keep, you know, doing what I'm doing here as long as I can and just kind of share it in an underground way. But eventually I'll be deplatformed because everyone else was. Regis Tremblay just interviewed Faina, was it yesterday? He was taken off of YouTube. His channel was deleted, and this has happened to just about everybody. So it's just
I
really
got two
quite something.
warnings. I got two warnings. Another warning, and they will shut my YouTube channel down. And mine doesn't even have that many subscribers. And I'm like, what are they doing? But about freedom and USSR time, I have a theory about this. Why they've been saying that? Because they were afraid that so many Americans just will run away to the USSR because it was nice, you know. But then what they
Uh-huh.
did, they put this like nice pro-American propaganda in USSR people's minds that there is a better life and so on. So many people moved to United States, and what happens to them? A couple of days ago, I was taking a cab, and the taxi driver was telling me how his friend moved to LA and how brilliant it is, and he is an U-Haul driver, and he makes like $5,000 a month, and I was wondering, like, did he get degree in Russia, and who was he working in Russia as? You know, when you work as a doctor or lawyer or I don't know, even engineer or architect, and then you're going to United States to drive U-Haul, this is something, you know. So
Yeah. Well, I was there in the Soviet Union, but only in the 90s. I mean, and by then things were not so great. I mean, it was right during Perestroika and the coup and everything. So it all just was coming apart right when I was there. And so I didn't get to see, but my friends there told me about what it was like before the economy was bad. And it sounded very good. I mean, you had guaranteed job placement. Okay, you had fully paid medical care. Of course,
we still
Americans
do.
will argue that it wasn't great medical care, but what I experienced wasn't bad. I mean, I visited the doctor 2 times. Or they actually, what's really cool is the doctors visited me in the USSR. Like they came to me. They make house calls there, and from what I
Okay.
understand, they still do, don't they? Is that true? That
Yes,
if
they
because they're
do.
still Soraya Pomoshli, you can call and they will come
For
and
a помощь, yes, the emergency, yes, they do come, and they don't take you to the hospital. They first they do like the first check, you know, they check your blood pressure, your temperature, and
right.
so on, and then they offer you help right there immediately, whatever it is. And then if it's really an emergency, they will take you to the hospital, of course. But if not, you will get help at home. It's free, you know, everything is
Oh,
okay. They can schedule you a doctor appointment for the following day or for whenever, and then they just
wow.
gonna go home and you're fine.
It's
We
amazing.
still
It's
have
people have no
free
idea in this
education.
country.
Yeah, we have free education, and there are many good things, you know, about this country as well. When it comes to the subject of prisoners that are very, you know, important for me as an ex-prisoner in the United States. Here,
Yeah.
at least, we do have a true human rights defenders. You know, not the ones that work with the prison and just because they work, they get to go get inside. You know, and whatever the prisoner will tell to the volunteer, you know, it will be known by the whole prison administration just in a second after the volunteer will walk out. At least here you have it called like um, public control. You know, they have these people who go around the
Wow.
prisoners and see what is wrong about it. Do the prisoners get medical care? Do they get enough food? You know, how is
Wow.
the situation? Like, do they have a bed? You know, do they get to go outside? Like, are they in a disciplinary? Are they in a shoe or whatever? You know, for how long? So it will not violate their human rights.
And
And
this is
if your
something that you
prisoner
know
says
because you
he can't get
investigate
help,
these things in Russia too, correct? Like your foundation
uh,
investigates
in
human rights
Russia,
abuses there.
Absolutely, and overseas as well, because we did a lot of work on American prisons, in French prisons, British prisons, even Australian, Polish. So all over the world, the problem is just like the highest prisoners rate is in the United States, and that's the problem. And then another issue is the law is so different based on how prisoner can be treated, but there's still international law. But since U.S. law is extraterritorial, no international law can apply. But it doesn't mean that you can torture people. You know what I'm saying? Because
Oh, it
not long
happens.
ago there was, like less than a year ago, there was a story when one prisoner was pulled by the guards under the hot shower, so the person burned till death. Like, what is wrong? Like in this
I
world,
hear all the time. I hear stories about people having heart attacks in prison or not being allowed to get their medicine that they need, and so they die, and no one cares. And it's prison for profit. I mean,
But
in what you've seen.
they can get their hormones. You know what I mean? Like when they want to change the gender, they get their hormones in time.
Wow. Well, you're not going to do very good at that if you can't, treat your diabetes, right?
I'm
Um,
not saying anything, because this is people's choice and whatever. Everybody makes their decisions based on whatever
right.
conditions they have, based on their beliefs and so on. But when it comes to something, I mean, there is a necessary life-threatening cases, and hormones is not.
Now, you spent time in an American prison in Alabama, is that right? And it was for some trumped up charge that was connected to what, your ex-husband, correct?
It was conspiracy on money laundering, and I was in federal prison in Aliceville in Alabama.
Wow. Now, from what you've investigated as far as prisons around the world and your own experience, who would you say where are the worst prisons?
Prison cannot be good at all. So, but I would say, based on the prison conditions, if we will take prison as a building, that probably would be Asia. And if we will talk about something that's created by people inside the prison, such as medical care, food, opportunity to go for a walk, solitary confinement, psychological pressure, physical abuse, it's US.
Yeah, it's very bad. I mean, we have more prisoners now per capita than the Soviet Union had even during the Stalin era, which that's a whole other discussion that we probably don't have time to get into about Stalin,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I just
This discussion is dedicated to Faina, first of all,
yes,
and
I
this
want to
is
bring
the
this
hero
back to
of the
her.
day. Yes, please.
She is the hero. She's the hero. When is can you ask for her? When is your birthday going to be, Faina? So we can wish you a
Faina,
happy birthday.
когда у тебя день рождения?
31 октября.
In April?
No, in October 31st.
Oh my gosh, on Halloween? That's wonderful. That's a great day to have a birthday. That's very soon. Do you have any special plans for your birthday?
У тебя какие-то специальные планы на день рождения?
Ну, на самом деле, не знаю, возможно, программ тыкву.
She says, actually, I don't know. Maybe we will make a pumpkin.
Oh, yeah, I have a tradition of wearing costumes on Halloween and going out and singing, so it's just an
У
old
Деборы,
tradition. I get a little silly.
Старая традиция. Она любит валять дурачка, одеваться в костюм и ходить петь на Хэллоуин.
Я тоже.
She does too.
I think you always have to try to hold on to some of your childhood in some way and just keep it
Release your
inside of you.
child.
Yeah.
Дебора говорит, что нужно всегда продолжать сохранять в себе какого-то ребенка.
And that for me, that's kind of my concern for Faina is she able to hold on to her childhood, do you think, in this war?
You asking me or her?
I'm asking both of you.
Let's start with Faina then. Faina, как ты думаешь, тебе удается быть ребенком вот в этот период войны?
Я думаю, что да.
She
Что
says
ты
yes.
делаешь? She thinks yes. А что ты делаешь как ребенок? I ask her, what do you do like a child?
Yeah.
На самом деле много вещей.
Many things.
Ну
Например,
что?
Ну, опять же, Хэллоуин, Новый год.
Halloween, New Year, holidays.
Uh,
I think she doesn't have a lot that other children do.
yeah.
First of all, most important thing that she writes and talks about constantly is why she doesn't want to see airplanes in the air flying on top of her head. I think she doesn't go to school as just a public school as everybody else. They do have distance study. So it's a huge part of your life. When you go to school, you have prom, you hang out, you have friends, and they don't go play like to the yard together. That's not the real connection happen between.
So Faina has to stay home because of this list, probably. Yes?
Тебе приходится много времени проводить дома вот так вот удаленно из-за миротворцев в том числе?
Не совсем.
Not really.
Oh. Why does she choose to study from home?
Because it's a war. Like the schools.
Right.
It's
So
not like
that's why. So
it's
the
making-
okay. So
Yeah,
they're shut down, is what you're
yes,
saying.
yes. The majority. But some parents allow their children to go to school, but look what happens to Donetsk. They shell in schools, kindergartens. They don't care. For
See,
them, it's important to show that all the weapons that been sent are in use, and then they would say, "Oh, there were Russian military in there," but there were children going to study, and then once we show the proofs, they would say, "No, this was Russian missiles that did it." This is just crazy. So there is no
yeah, it makes
way
no sense.
of absolutely. They twist everything. They create they create the war crime, and then they say that it's been done by Russian.
Well, they expect us to believe that the people in eastern Ukraine are both Russian separatists and that they're bombing themselves, which makes no sense. You can't have both of those stories.
I don't know if you saw my last interview with Dmitry Polyansky,
I
but
no.
we've been talking. He is the vice of like the permanent representatives of Russian Federation in UN, and he is the one that helps to fight Mirotvorets and represents Faina's interests in UN. And I asked him about the situation in at UN right now, like what is happening, and he said that there is so much lies every day goes in there, like 400 reports, for example, from like Ukraine, US, UK, and wherever else, and all those reports must be checked. So with all this piled up information, the UN people, whoever checks it, they don't even have enough time to go through this. So some information already stated as a truth, even without being checked, and even without evidence being checked, false or truth. So it just takes as a statement already, and it's done on purpose. They do this on purpose, knowing that there is not enough people, not enough sources to check all whatever they say, and so they just piled up with bunch.
Yeah, they're flooding them. Flooding them
Exactly.
intentionally.
Yes.
Yeah, the same thing with our media. They don't even check anything. They just report it. Like if it comes from Ukraine, they just report it as if it's, for real. And it's like these guys lie, okay? Like they think Goebbels was a good guy, okay? And they learned from him about how if you tell a lie and you tell it a lot, people will believe it. Well, that's exactly what they're doing. And so
Lie repeated 100 times is not
working,
lying
sadly.
anymore. Exactly.
I mean, I wish it wasn't, but it's a good strategy. I mean, it's terrible, but it's working.
So going
How do
back
we
to
beat this?
how do we beat this?
Yeah.
There is no way to beat this. I mean, like, we just have to keep going with the truth. And as I heard many opinions, is only the winner will be heard. So I guess there is no other way for Russia is to reach the goals.
What does Faina think about this? How can we be better heard? To get the
Faina,
truth out.
что ты думаешь, мы можем сделать, чтобы быть услышанными и чтобы правда была на поверхности?
Наверное, об этом рассказывать.
Keep talking about it.
Продолжаем
Продолжаем.
говорить.
Да.
Мне кажется, что лучше не поодиночке, а всем вместе.
And
Как
better
будто
not separately, but together.
Yes. Oh, I do. I've been
United.
feeling a lot of us coming together.
Yes, yes. a lot.
We must, because that's the only way that and they want to keep us divided, boy.
That's the thing. Like, look what happened to the USSR. It's been divided. Look what's happening in European Union. It's getting divided. Look what happens all over the world.
Oh.
Like, if you look what happens in China and part of China, Taiwan. Like, somebody's trying to divide it. And like, if you want to make something weaker, you have to divide it. And usually, the best way is to do it from the inside. So we should just keep, united, stay together, and don't allow nothing common between us, in the middle of us, to separate us, to divide us, because only together we are so strong, and only together we will be heard.
Well, I think on that note, I'm going to prepare to close here. Is there any last maybe text that Faina would like to read, or at the
Faina?
end here?
Заканчиваем. Может быть, есть какой-то текст, который ты хочешь прочитать в завершении, или что-нибудь добавить?
Не будет текста.
Well, I'm looking forward to translating the two that she already read and seeing exactly what she wrote, because I know of her writing, and from what I've read so far, she's got an absolutely brilliant talent for writing, and I'm hoping we'll hear a lot more from her.
Yeah. Дебора ждет с нетерпением твои два эссе, которые ты прочитала, чтобы перевести и прочитать их. Она не сомневается в том, что удивительные, и она ожидает новых эссе, новых произведений. Пишите и радуйте нас.
Так что спасибо вам оба
Спасибо
большое.
Да.
Спасибо. И простите, что мой русский не совсем так, но попробовала.
Русский, да.
I can write and read in Russian so much better than I can speak or understand. And my comprehension is just bad. I mean, and I watch Russian TV and TV shows, and I translate songs, and I do all these things. It's never enough. It's without living there. If I was immersed, like when I lived there in Soviet times, I'm just starting to pick it up better. It just takes being immersed, I think.
You have to keep talking, and then it gets better. Like, you have to be surrounded by this.
Well, we'll have to talk again.
Okay. It's
All
fine
right.
with us.
Хорошо. Хорошо, до свидания и до свидания. Наверное,
свидания.
будет свидание. До свидания.
Да, хорошего дня.
Хорошо, пока.
Пока, Фаиночка.